Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, and last week we took a look at the doctrine of the Holy Spirit, or understanding the Holy Spirit. And as we looked at that, we finished the week, and I thought there's really a lot more to say about this because it's really an area where there's been a lack of teaching, maybe for a better word. And I felt like we needed to maybe spend one more week on it. And today I thought, well, let's tackle that dreaded subject that is tied in with the Holy Spirit. And most of you have probably asked this question a lot of times: is what about the gift of tongues? This little gift that is mentioned in the New Testament has become sort of a divisive thing in our modern day. And sometimes people want to argue back and forth over this. And I thought, well, let's try to seek some clarity today. So that's what I'm doing. When we come to this gift of tongues, one of the things that I want you to know is that, I practiced this gift myself for several years until I really began to question, the value of what it was. I began to question whether it was real, the reality of it, and I began to sort of look into it, to study it further. And I came to the conclusion that I really didn't need it as a part of my faith, but I believe it was important. I believe it was a very important gift early on in the New Testament, because as the gospel went forth, people needed to hear the gospel in their own language. They needed to hear the proclamation of the word in their own language. And in that ancient world around the Mediterranean Sea, there were languages all around that. There were languages in Africa and languages from Europe. There were languages in Asia Minor, and there were languages in the Middle East. And so this gift of tongues had a very specific function and purpose to it. Now, one of the things that has created a lot of the confusion over this little gift is the fact that there was a kind of a poor translation that was done way back in 1611 with the King James. And when the King James translated one passage, they used the phrase unknown tongues. Now, the interesting thing is that word unknown is not in the original language. When we come to this word, we find it standing alone in the New Testament. There's no such phrase as an unknown tongue. And the word itself means languages. The original word was glossa in the original Greek, and it simply meant language. That's all it meant. Now, that's related to a word that we use today. We talk about a glossary or a dictionary. Well, that deals with language, and that was the use of the word in the Greek. So the original use of the word was language, and the word unknown didn't even occur in the original text. So for me, that became conclusive, or one item that sort of pointed to questioning some of the interpretations on that. So as we think about this gift of tongues, recognize that it's one gift. It is a language. It's not an unknown language, but there are all these other gifts as well that the Spirit gives, and the Spirit gives those gifts generously. They're not to puff us up or make us think more of ourselves than we ought to think. They're for the purpose of doing ministry and reaching people with the gospel and seeing the mission of Christ go forth. And we then humbly accept those gifts and use them for the glory of God. Well, those are some thoughts about all of this. And I hope you'll think about it yourself today. As we've got a few hours as you wander through the day, consider this gift of tongues. I had to wrestle with it myself. But I say all of this not to offend you, and I hope that I haven't hurt you in this. That is not my purpose. My purpose is to seek clarity, just because it's been an area where there's been a lot of fuzziness and a lot of lack of clarity. But think about it. I will see you tomorrow, and we'll try not to deal with sort of a topic that can be a little touchy. I'll see you tomorrow morning, though, and we will continue our study of the doctrine of the Holy Spirit. Bye for now. God bless.